Going on, everybody? It's Key Time coming back with another one to talk about week 17 of the NFL season. The first game that is on the docket is the New York Jets and Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns, they are already in the playoffs, so I expect them to win this game. The New York Jets, they have just packed it in this season. Aaron Rodgers, he want to play. I don't see why he want to play because the Jets ain't going nowhere. So I got Cleveland winning this game by at least 10 points. So that's all I got for that for the first game. The second game is Saturday night. Detroit Lions versus the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Dallas, you need to win this game to rejuvenate yourself. Because last couple games, it ain't been too good for us because we lost to the Buffalo Bills, and plus we lost to the Miami Dolphins. So I expect, and plus the Dallas Cowboys, they have Jimmy Johnson night. Jimmy Johnson is going into the Cowboys Ring of Honor. Finally, Jerry Jones is swallowing his pride and putting Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor. So I am happy about that. And with that, I expect Dallas to win this game because they ain't losing on Jimmy Johnson night. Now, the next game I want to talk about is New England Patriots and Buffalo Bills. I expect Buffalo to win this game, still making that playoff push. They shouldn't have any problems with New England, but it's a division game. So, you never know with these division games. But I expect Buffalo to win because they at home, and plus they still got to play Miami next week. And I believe that next week will be for the division. The next game I want to talk about is the Atlanta Falcons and Chicago Bears. Atlanta is out of the playoffs. Chicago is out of the playoffs. So this game won't have no playoff implications. But I expect the Bears to win this game because they are at home, and plus Justin Fields, he's playing a whole lot better than he was earlier in the season. I mean, when you look at it, Justin Fields, when he has a clean pocket, he can throw it like some of the best. But if he don't have a clean pocket, he just gonna be getting sacked and sacked. But with the Chicago Bears, I expect them to win this game, and I expect them to win it by, I'll say it is gonna be a close game because both of these teams, they ain't strong. So this game, they gonna win it by 2. I'll say 2, maybe even a walk-off field goal. Who knows? The next game I want to talk about is the Las Vegas Raiders and the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts, they are still fighting for a playoff spot. They are at home. Now, Vegas is also fighting for a playoff spot, but the Las Vegas Raiders, they need a lot of things to fall in their favor. To win the division, they got to expect Kansas City to lose every game, lose the rest of their games, and Las Vegas has to win out. Now, as far as the flip side for the Indianapolis Colts, you win this game, have the Jaguars to lose, which I'm going to talk about the Jaguars later on in this video, and you have the Texans lose, the Colts will be in first place heading into the last week of the season. I see the Colts winning this game, but I don't see what I just said about the Jaguars and Houston happening. So the Indianapolis Colts, they'll win this game by at least 10. The next game I want to talk about is the Los Angeles Rams and New York Giants. New York Giants are out of it. The Los Angeles Rams, I believe this is a game that you have to win in order to keep your playoff chances alive. because if you lose this, you are out of the playoff chase. So I think that Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and I think that the Rams offense as a whole will have a good game against the New York Giants defense that has been sputtering throughout the entirety of this season. And I think the Rams win by at least 10 points, if not more. If not more. The next game I want to talk about is the Arizona Cardinals and Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Arizona, y'all know how I feel about Arizona. One of the worst teams in the NFL. And you playing against a Philadelphia Eagles team that is limping into the playoffs. Well, limping into the playoffs because they're gonna make the playoffs. Limping into the playoffs. So it's hard to bet against Philadelphia at home. And I'm not gonna bet against Philadelphia at home, even though if they lose this game, it'll help out my Dallas Cowboys great because Dallas is gonna win versus Detroit on Saturday. They're gonna win that game. So if the Philadelphia Eagles can somehow win, can somehow lose this game, it'll work out great. But I don't expect them to lose to Arizona. So that's why I got Philadelphia winning this game. The next game I have is the New Orleans Saints and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both of these teams still have a chance at making the playoffs, but Tampa Bay has the upper hand since Tampa Bay won in New Orleans earlier in the season. So now Tampa Bay has the number one spot in the NFC South. And if they win this game, they'll be the one of the division with a chance to rest everybody going into the last game of the season. So I expect Tampa to win this game. That way that you can rest some of your starters going into the last week of the season. The next game I want to talk about is the San Francisco 49ers and Washington Commanders. You all know how I feel about Washington. Josh Harris and Magic Johnson has already said that there will be a complete team overhaul in the offseason. And San Francisco, this is a bounce back game for them because they got bum rush stomped on Monday Night Football by the Ravens. So I expect a bounce back game from them. And plus Washington, who does Washington have at quarterback? Sam Howell. And is he going to give you a good game or what? I don't know and I don't care. But San Francisco, this is a bounce back game for them and they'll win this game. The next game I want to talk about is Carolina Panthers and Jacksonville Jaguars. Look, Jaguars, I ain't going to say that this is a layup game for you, but you need to win this game. And not just for a playoff seed because you the fourth seed, you're going to be in the playoffs and all of that. You need to get back in the win column just for as far as confidence based because from what I seen Sunday versus the Buccaneers, it was straight garbage, straight horrible. It was horrible. You had penalties. You had false starts. You had Trevor Lawrence. He was second guessing himself. You need a win. You need to win this game in the worst way possible. And I expect you to win over the worst team in the NFL, in the Carolina Panthers. You should win. I'll be very surprised coming on here Monday morning and seeing that the Jaguars have lost this game. The Jaguars, they bet not lose this game because if they lose and the Colts win and Texans win, now Jaguars, you are in the third spot in your division with only one game to play. And even though you have to play the Tennessee Titans the last game of the season, you'll need the Colts to lose, Houston to lose, and you'll need a few more teams to lose. So go ahead and win this game this weekend so that only thing you have to do, you are in a win and end scenario this weekend. So go ahead and win this game and you'll be in the playoffs. You'll be done clinched your playoff spot. You already in the playoffs at the fourth spot. But if you win this game, you will clinch it. So go ahead and win this game, Jacksonville, and stop messing around with your food. Hey, you're already in the playoffs. Make it come true. The next game I want to talk about is the Miami Dolphins and Baltimore Ravens. This is one of the biggest games of this weekend. The Miami Dolphins offense, top notch. The Baltimore Ravens offense in the top 5. Tua Tagovailoa and Lamar Jackson is on a tear. But one thing about it is Miami don't fare too well on the road. And Baltimore, they haven't lost a home game all season. So it's like this may be a nip and tuck game. I don't know. But I'm gonna put my money on Baltimore in this game because they haven't lost a game all season. The next game I want to talk about is the Tennessee Titans and Houston Texans. Houston gonna win this game throughout because I don't expect nothing from Tennessee. Will Levis is doing his thing. Well, it's doing his thing, but DeAndre Hopkins, he may be gone. And plus, Derrick Henry ain't getting his yards like he used to. So, when I look at this game, Houston needs this game more than the Tennessee Titans do. And they need a whole lot more stuff to fall in their favor. Houston is going to win this game, but I don't think the X, Y, and Z is going to fall in their favor. So, I'm going to pick Houston in this game. The next game I want to talk about is the Pittsburgh Steelers and Seattle Seahawks. Pittsburgh, I don't know what to say about you. Your offense is up and down. Some games your offense scores 13 points and then you have a showing like you did on Christmas Eve, scoring 34 goddamn points. I mean, can't you do that every week? But you have a revolving door at quarterback. Throughout this season, you've had Mitchell Trubisky. Now you have Mason Rudolph. You got Kenny Pickett. There's no consistency at quarterback, so I am not going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks because Seattle needs this game more, and plus, it's hard to beat Seattle in Seattle with that crowd noise and everything else. So I'm going with Seattle. The next game I want to talk about is the Los Angeles Chargers and Denver Broncos. Now, there was something. I was looking at Sports Illustrated yesterday, and I seen an article on Sports Illustrated where if the Denver Broncos release Russell Wilson, they'll have to pay 37. Well, excuse me, I want to get this right. They'll have to pay $85 million to him because he signed a contract extension last year, but it don't start until 2024. So, okay, you have a 5-year extension worth $250 million. What other team gonna take on that financial rock? Because that's a financial rock. I have never heard of a team giving one player $250 million. I done heard of 100 million, 150 million, but $250 million? It's like you expecting him to save the franchise. But now, since you run the risk of injury playing in this game, y'all gonna bench him. I don't know what's going on with that. It really doesn't. It really don't make sense to me because if he is your quarterback, whether he is injured or not, you still got to put him in the starting lineup. But this is Sean Payton, and I said this before the season started. I said that Russell Wilson's offensive offensive uh offensive play at quarterback don't fit with Sean Payton. Sean Payton is a traditional coach. He is a coach that wants two tight ends, two wide receivers, and a running back in the backfield. And that's just not Russell Wilson's game. So this is one of the worst games of the week. But if I had to bet on it, I would pick Denver because Los Angeles, they in a rebuilding phase too. They are in a rebuilding phase, and Denver, they need this game. And to think about it, Denver has a 1.4% chance at making the playoffs. 1.4. Your playoff chances are razor thin, Denver Broncos. Even though you're gonna win this game, I believe you'll lose next week. Well, the last game of the season. So you're gonna win this game versus the Chargers, but it's gonna be tough sledding for you. The next game I want to talk about is the Cincinnati Bengals and Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City, you got to win this game. It's a must-do-it-out fail because you know why? We already know that you're going to have to go on the road to play in the playoffs. But one thing about it, the defense, playing their tails off, keeping the offense in the game. But it comes down to these two names. Well, it actually comes down to the whole wide receiving core. Rashee Rice, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Travis Kelce, and Kadarius Toney. They've all dropped the ball. That's 4 wide receivers that I've named, and well, Travis Kelce, he's a tight end, but he has dropped the ball too. Kansas City Chiefs, they lead the league in most drop passes this season, which is unheard of with a Patrick Mahomes-led offense. But you get this game, you'll be done won your division, you'll be done clinched your playoff spot. Even though you got to go on the road, you'll be done made the playoffs. But Kansas City, you run the risk of being one and done in the playoffs. You'll win this game against Cincinnati because Cincinnati, they playoff chances are razor thin too. But you'll win this game. And that's all I got for Kansas City. Now the last game of the season will be Green Bay. Well, the last game for week 17, will be the Green Bay Packers and Minnesota Vikings. I believe that Green Bay will somehow win this game because Minnesota, they have had inconsistent quarterback play. Joshua Dobbs, he got injured like a few weeks ago. Nick Mullins, he up and down. He hasn't been consistent. Last 2 games, he's lost close games. So Green Bay, they still have a chance at making the playoffs. If they lose this game, they out of the playoffs. So this is basically, for the Packers, it's a win or go home in this situation. So I got the Packers winning this game by at least 3 points, maybe a walk-off field goal, maybe they end the game with their offense being out there on the field. So with that, those are my predictions for week 17 of the NFL season. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and remember, the key is always on time.